What's up guys, Evil here. Hey, I bet you guys haven't seen this truck in a while. This is my Axial SCX10 Honcho. This is the truck that I do most of the running with. You guys have seen the JK. It's more of a demo truck. It sits on the shelf a lot. This is the one that gets beat up and run a lot. So here we are for Honcho Upgrade Volume 6. So for this installment, I'm going to be doing some upgrades on the truck here again. And do a little bit of reconfiguration. The first big thing I'm doing to the truck is I'm moving over to a DX4S. Previously I was running the 4PL, which is a good radio. I don't have any issues with it or anything, but I'm moving over to the DX4S because I've been doing this for a lot of years and I have a lot of receivers. Majority of them are old Spectrum receivers, and this radio is backwards compatible, so it makes more sense for me to be running this radio. The other thing is I really like this radio. The ergonomics of it are really good. It's really easy to program. You can upgrade it. It's a really nice radio for the money. So that'll be the upgrade. Also, this radio comes with a 4-channel surface receiver, and that's going to be important for the next upgrade, and that will be running a dig unit. This is something you don't see on a lot of scalers, but it's something I'm going to be adding to mine just because I think it's pretty damn cool. What we have here is a Vanquish Products Hertz dig unit. It's a 3-position dig. It has 4-wheel drive, it has front-wheel drive, and then it has rear lock or front dig, front burn, whatever you want to call it. Locks the rear axle of the truck, and that really allows you to get a lot better performance when you're doing a tough climb. It also improves maneuverability, a lot of things like that. So to actuate this switch, a servo is required. So the stock servo that's on that truck is going to be repurposed to run the dig unit. And of course the other channels will be speed control, running my winch controller, and then my new upgraded servo. This is a JR 8711 high torque servo. It's around a 411 ounce servo. It takes a lot of juice. And running all these accessories, I'm going to be running lights, 2 servos, a winch controller. Because of all that, it can put a lot of strain on your stock BEC and the speed control. So for that reason, I'm going to be installing Castle's Pro 20 amp BEC. In most cases, the 10 amp is more than sufficient to handle everything, but since I'm running so much stuff in this truck, I'm going to be running this 20 amp BEC. And this will also allow me to run 3S with no issues, which will give me a little more juice. Motor wise, I'm switching from a 27 turn Holmes to a 35 turn Tekin, so a little bit less wheel speed but a little more torque. But with the addition in voltage, I probably won't see a whole lot of difference in wheel speed there. So anyway, that's it for this. I'm going to tear into this thing and start doing some upgrades. Alright, so next up I need to install the servo on the dig. I'm actually going to use the old Axial steering servo, which has been a pretty good servo. It should serve just fine for the dig servo. And you can see it's a perfect fit. It'll just be a matter of rigging up some linkage here. That should be roughly the right length. Kind of want these to be as close to the same angle as you can. I may need to do a bit more adjustment on my linkage there. So we're at a point now where I'm going to pull the transmission out, and like I said before, this will be flipped the other way, so I'm not sure if I'm going to clear my electronics here or not, but we'll go ahead and yank the skid out of here and then mount the new transmission and see how everything fits. So I may have to do some rearranging there. Alright, so notice here I pulled everything, skid included. And that's, as I mentioned before, because I'm going to have to reverse the skid, because stock front is this way, and to run the dig, the transmission has to be reversed. So, because the dig's on the back side of the tranny, and to make clearance for the servo. So, I'm going to go ahead and pull this transmission off of the skid, install this one, and then put it back on the truck. I did find on my dig here that I think because this dig was originally designed for the AX10, which had a different skid plate, while they use the same transmission, the skid is different. So I had to trim a little bit of material away right here. Not enough to hurt anything, but I just trimmed a little bit out there so that this pivot doesn't bind. Alright, so there we go, dig installed. And clearances on this rear upper link are really tight between the dig and the head of the bolt. So my solution to that was to reverse that bolt and have the nut on the outside, because there's just not enough room for that nut on the inside. But the head of the bolt is much smaller, so that allows the link to fit in there and everything to clear just fine. So easy solution. Next we're going to be moving on to drive shafts. This drive shaft is uncut. It's stock length, but it is too long. It does not allow the suspension to actuate because it cannot compress. So the solution is to either trim this inner part of the telescoping, I don't know what you want to call it, the telescoping part of the drive shaft, cut a little bit off of that just to allow that to give, because if you look at the front, you compress the suspension, that does compress a little bit. So it doesn't take a whole lot, or you don't have to take a whole lot off to allow it, but right now I need to pull that back off and trim it up. Alright, so got the dig and drivetrain and all this stuff all installed, and I'm to the point where I need to start to install electronics. I put a call out to one of my friends, Howard, from Howler Custom RC, but his first product is this. This is a really nice radio tray that he manufactures. He's only had prototypes, and this is the first test unit that he's making for the SCX10. And what this does, it bolts right on top of your rock sliders, and you use the spacers from underneath the battery tray, and it gives you a nice spot right here to install your battery, and then these two big huge trays down here to mount all your electronics. So and there you go. Pretty awesome. Clean. I like it. I think Howard's got a winner in his hands here. Alright, man, so we're getting close here. The wiring's been a long and tedious task. Right now I'm working on setting up the throws on the servo switch. Alright. So the DX4's got a nice feature to where under the switch programming, get this in here where you can see, you can program the switches to do anything you want. The nice feature that the DX4S has that the old ones did not is a 3-position switch. You can see that my AUX2 channel on my receiver is set to 3 positions, so you can adjust how far those 3 steps go. So if I click once, like right now it's in 4-wheel drive. If I click once, it'll go to a mid position, which is 2-wheel drive, and then if I click again, it goes into dig. So real handy. Engage is really nice. Let me zoom out and you can see the function. So in 4-wheel drive, 2-wheel drive, which is freewheel on the back, and then one more time is dig, it will not roll. So should be really cool. One tip I will give you when you're programming your radio is your travel or endpoint. Mine is set at 60. You want to turn that all the way down to 0 so that when you fire up this servo, the servo doesn't travel over to like where it thinks is center or wherever and hit and you can burn up your servo or strip the gears. So you want to set that travel to 0, and then once you get your switch program, you flip back and forth, and you can slowly step that up to where you get this throw just perfectly where you want it. If you have it at 100%, it'll go over to one side and probably strip your servo. So just a little tip there when programming a dig. So basically the truck's completely ready to go now. I just need to basically do lighting. Getting all the lighting going on, this is going to be a real pain in the ass on the winch and stuff, so I got a lot of spaghetti wiring to clean up and stuff, but basic truck is done now, so that's been kind of an all day ordeal. So anyway, next time we check in here, I'll hopefully have lighting done and then maybe get some running video. So